Hello and welcome to another video. This is SnowStorm TCG and today we are taking a trip down memory lane to revisit one of my old mains, the yellow Enel deck. This is a deck that I feel like you either love or hate, and I know a lot of people hate this deck, probably because it can feel really frustrating when you play against Enel and he constantly just heals up during your turn, triggering cards like this in their last life to heal an extra time, or the OPO4 Bedge that will negate one of your attacks for the turn and stuff like that. So I know a lot of people hate this deck for that reason, and others probably. I for one love it because I have been a yellow main since yellow was introduced to the game pretty much. Still really like yellow, even though I tend to enjoy playing black decks more nowadays, but really like playing yellow still. And soon at least people won't have to worry about the 2k Bedge trigger, because that will obviously be rotated out in the block rotation. This card is still around though, and it's a really strong trigger as well. But yellow, and more specifically the Sky Island package in yellow, has received some really good support in OP15. And with the new ban list that dropped recently, of course we got the information that Raigo Kingdom Come will be unbanned from April 1st. That's a card that is really strong in the yellow Enel deck. Removal is weaker now than it has been in the past because there's so much anti-removal nowadays, but it will still be really nice to play around with that card again in yellow Enel. And just in case you don't know which card I'm talking about, it's this one. For 6 stun, you can KO one of your opponent's characters. No restriction to cost or power or anything, but you then also have to trash your life until you come down to 1 life. But as yellow Enel, we usually want to stay at 1 life anyway, so we take it early and then we hang around at 1 life, and we can use this to pop anything on their board if it can be popped, of course. This deck list I run only in one of the games in today's video. I quickly switched it up after playing a few games with it. I wanted to include this card first, just for old time's sake. I used to like this card a lot when I played Enel in the past. It is really strong, but with all the new Sky Island support that we have a lot more mid-range kind of cards, instead of having to play tons of big bodies, 10 drops, 9 and 10 drops, that Enel traditionally has done. So I ended up feeling like I more often than not want to have done up for counter events and stuff, and therefore I quickly cut this card out. And this is the second list that I made. So instead of the 10 drop ace, I added Borsalino, which it's too strong not to run in the yellow deck, for sure. I just wanted to try the ace card first because I used to like it a lot when I played Enel in the past. But this is, of course, you should run this card, definitely. And I also added this event because if you can manage to get this as a trigger when you have this in your trash, that's so insanely strong. It's too good not to run. These cards are amazing as well. I love these 2 cards. This one is really good for board control, get rid of small bodies and reducing bigger ones by 2k, so you can more easily clear them by swinging into them with other stuff you have. And the activate main effect is really nice to have access to, as long as Viper stays on the board as well. This card is a true menace. It's incredibly strong, especially into certain matchups like purple Enel, Lucy, Rebecca, decks that want to rely on blockers and or events. This card is crazy strong. Also, it feels really good to have a lot of searchers in yellow Enel. That's not something we're used to when we played Enel in the past. You usually never played any searchers. This one technically was around since Enel was released, but never played really, or mostly not played, at least I should say. But what we can do now that we couldn't do as much in the past with Enel, when we had to rely on the big 10 drops to heal, now we can actually use Zeus to pop bodies on the opponent's board, take a life, and then in the same turn heal up with Zoro or Borsalino. And that's something we're gonna see in the games in today's video as well, and it feels really good to be more mid-range focused with yellow Enel. So we can play around a lot more with stuff like this, comboing these cards for example. And I opted to go for 2 Elthorus and 2 Golden Rifles. This is a really good card to have as a 4K counter before this one is a 4K counter, because this one is only a 4K counter when our opponent is at 2 or less life. But at the same time, this one can protect characters as well, whereas this one cannot. And also this trigger can be really good as well. We cannot use the main effect here of this one, sadly, because it's type locked. It's still really good to have as a 1-cost 4K counter though, in my opinion. Also this card, really good even as a counter card. It's nice to have. If you get it as a trigger, as I said, that can be cracked, completely cracked. This is our big boss monster of the deck. Really nice to have still. So we have this one to heal. We have Zoro and Borsalino as our healing cards. And a lot of good defensive cards as well. We are running a few bricks. So 4 Enels, 4 Luffy, 4 Zoro. So that's 12 bricks if you're not counting the events. So it's nice to have this one as well for that reason. Okay, let's not talk too much more now, and let's just jump into the games. Okay, so the first game is one that I just had to include in today's video. The Battle of the Enel. Who will come out on top? The old yellow Enel or the new purple one? This is just a fun game to try and see what the old Enel can do against the new boss of the town, purple Enel. We have a lot of cards that are incredibly strong against the purple Enel, like this Viper, for example, that we just played, and the new Secret Luffy. And now we know we have an Elthor in life as well. They go for Ohm and Holly. Okay, so here I'm thinking, they probably will just freeze Viper. Now I'm thinking, will they swing into my leader? Have they noticed my trigger in life? Because if they swing into my leader, I will just use the trigger to pop Holly immediately. But I think they were about to, and then just realize what the trigger is, what it says, and so then that's why they're hesitating, perhaps, and they go for a swing against Viper instead, which is the right choice. I definitely want to protect this one. I make sure I have 1 Zeus left though. I understood that they would freeze Viper with Lightning Dragon, but it's still really nice to have him on board because I can make use of the activate main effect still. So here we get to do the play I was talking about in the intro. We can, let's just watch it. We can play Zeus to pop Holly, and then we can still heal up in the same turn with Sorrow. Feels really nice to be able to do plays like that as yellow and Enel. Healing is so cheap now with these new yellow cards. It's insane. Saving 1 Dawn up for Elthor, even though it's only a plus 2k right now. So they have their first big Enel card on the board. We are pretty bricked up. We have a Thor and a 1k, but we're not in any kind of trouble yet. So now they can, yeah, exactly, they can go for a double swing with Ohm to lower the power of Viper by 2k, and I have to let it go. We could have saved him from that swing, but then we couldn't have saved it from the leader swing afterwards. So okay, up at 9 Dawn, probably gonna go for another Viper at this point, I believe, to clear their Ohms for free. Poking 5 first to see what they do. Yep. And attaching a Restodon to swing for 7 with Zoro. Now I probably will heal up, and yeah, we're gonna pitch a Secret Luffy here. I want to save Elthori, even though we cannot use it now because we don't have any Dawn up. Okay, they play another Ohm and Holly. So that's kind of annoying. Double attack can be annoying to deal with. They're just gonna poke into Zoro, so we have to let that go immediately. Okay, they see another Chitin. Will they try to starve me now, or will they keep swinging? That's the question. We only have 4 cards in hand. And yeah, they can probably rest and freeze Viper again, or rest him and swing into him with their Secret Enel. In which case I wouldn't be able to save him. So the purple Enel, okay, he goes for a 7 first, so we have to let that go. Here we get a search trigger, which is nice. We can only take the 10-drop Enel or the 0 cost. And I go for the 10-drop simply because we are pretty bricked, but I don't want to reveal a 0 cost event to him. I want him to have to respect every hit into my last life, as long as it's not revealed, like now. Thinking that it could be a 0 cost. So, just to make him a little more, yeah, just to mess with his mind a bit more, I guess. Okay, so we play a Secret Luffy, poke 7 here. And here I'm thinking, my first thought was to play out Borsalino to heal up, but I immediately realized that that is not the right thing to do here, because they can, first of all, they can easily deal with a Borsalino on the board, as we've seen them deal with 2 of my Vipers so far, by lowering its power with Chitin and then resting it with Mamaragan. So I realize it's much better not to play Borsalino here, because they have double attacks coming in as well with Holy and Ohm. So I'm just gonna sit on these 5 remaining Dawns for my counter events. And we know we have a 2k in life as well, if we're gonna need that. Also, being at only 1 life kind of makes their double attacks not hurt too much. They only have 4 Dawn this turn, and they attach all of them to Ohm. Will they go face or board? They go face, okay. So I'm probably just gonna take this one, I believe. And pitch a 10-drop to heal, most likely. We'll see. Just trying to calculate what their coming swings can be. But I believe, yeah, we take this one. And we do not trigger it out on the board. We save it as counter. Pitching a 10-drop to heal with the leader effect. And now they go for 5 face, and here I feel we have to counter out of this one. I would have liked to save Borsalino in hand, but we had to counter out. 6, this has got to be a 2k. And then he frees our Zoro. Freezes Zoro, swings into Luffy, right? Or will he try to get us down to 0 life? He goes for life, okay. So we immediately take that one. Okay, nice, we get another Luffy here. Is it time for the 10-drop? I'm not sure. I believe I'm gonna play Borsalino and sit on some events. Yeah, that's what we end up doing. Saving Enel for a bit longer. They counter out here. Okay. Sure. We don't get to buff Luffy for that because we don't have any life to reveal. So now it's just going to be Borsalino to heal and sit on double counter event in hand. They haven't seen any more Enel cards though, so that's good for us, for sure. Holly and Ohm can also be quite annoying to deal with. But it's fine as long as we stay on 1 life, we kind of negate that effect. Alright, I believe I mess up slightly here. Because I was thinking I could just... first I intended to block, but I accidentally clicked past the block option, and then I somehow forgot to remember they had one active Dawn to attach to Holly as well. It was later in the night when I recorded this game, so that's probably why. Anyway, it's not too big of a deal though. We play out another Luffy, swing for 7 with RNL first to see what they do. Will they take or counter? And they counter out. Okay, our Luffy is buffed by 1k, so he had a 1 cost in life. They have 2 cards left in hand, so I'm probably just, I'm gonna swing 7 with Borsalino and load up the rest on Luffy here, and we take the win. They have 2k, 1k in hand, so Holly was their last life, most likely. Otherwise they would have countered out of this 7k here. Okay, so they had another Mamaragan here. Our opponent only saw 1 secret Enel, and that, of course, can hurt their game as well. But they at least had these 2 to just sit there and be annoying throughout the game. But we have really good counter against the purple Enel with this Luffy. the Viper, and also Borsalino is so strong. Soto Borsalino to heal up for such low costs, that's just insanely good value. So, turns out yellow Enel is the true king, right? The true god. Anyway, had to include this one. The Battle of the Enels. Now, let's move on to the next one. Alright. Now we're up against blue-yellow Boa. We get to go first. Get some searching in from the start. Feels good. As I said in the intro, it feels so good as yellow Enel to be able to search so much. And we have, I was just waiting for them to get a trigger body out, and I believe I'm gonna immediately use Zeus to get rid of it, even though it will cost us 2 life. That doesn't really matter at all. If I can keep their board low, I'm completely fine going down in life as yellow Enel. Gonna counter out of this swing though. So now this is gonna be probably a Soto turn, I guess. Yeah. Attaching it on to swing for 6 to see if they want to give up the blocker or not. They don't. Take the life and get another trigger body. Seems good for them. So they get to filter their hand. They trash a Gorgon Sisters. And now they fix the top of their life. And they go for a 6k. Get another Borsa from life. Probably gonna counter. No, we take this one as well. We have so many ways to heal, even early in mid game now, so we can very aggressively go down in life as well. And here we're gonna do just that. We use Zeus to pop their blocker, take a life, and now we can attack their board for free. They give that one up. We heal up with Borsa and just pass the turn. They play out Gorgon Sisters. So they will reveal, they have a 9-drop, a Neon, and another Gorgon Sisters in hand. So that's good information to get. They fix their life even more. Okay. 7 phase, we take that. Trashing probably a 0 cost here, I believe. Or, okay, the Searcher, yeah. And here will we, we block and 1k. Up at 9 Dawn, likely gonna heal this turn as well with another Borsa. So we're gonna just continue to poke the board. This matchup feels really good because their leader effect that forces you to take a life if you KO one of their creature pirate characters, really, that feels really fine with Enel. Okay, so that's the life they fix. They get a Borsa out from trash. Seems good. But we play a second Borsa of our own. They go into the 9-drop, forcing us to take a life. We immediately heal with the leader effect. This matchup actually... Okay, now we know they have a Perfume Femur in hand and another 9-drop. So we know not to go down to 0 and try to rely on blockers. Which we wouldn't do anyway, if we could have helped it. But yeah, as I was about to say, this matchup feels really good, honestly. Because as yellow Enel, we don't mind taking life at all. So we can easily go for their board without being punished. At least it feels like we're not being punished. Even though we have to take a life, we can just easily heal back up. Or sit at low life, like 1 life. Without any trouble. And we don't mind swinging with our Borsalinos here, so we're just gonna eat up their hand until they give up their board, pretty much. And then we play a third Borsalino, so this game probably more than anything will just show how insanely strong Borsalino is as a card. We could have countered out of that attack, but then they could poke with the leader as well. And we would have had to let it go, so it's better to just save the cards in hand. Alright. Let's see what we'll go for here. Is it time for the big Enel play? It is, okay. So we trash a searcher, swing 12 into their 9-drop, and they give it to us. That's really good. We get another counter event from life, and now we're just gonna poke life. No more trigger bodies. Good for us, but they get another Borsalino on the board. This is just the battle of the Borsalinos, pretty much at this point. Okay, they go 10 into Borsalino. We let that one go. And we're gonna try to use up tons of resources to save these cards. Unless it's necessary. Alright, we could easily double heal this turn with an L swing and then by playing Soto. Let's see what we do though. We could also pop their Barca blocker with Zeus. And then heal back alive with Soto. Now they have another trigger body out. Yeah, I do just that. Use Zeus to get rid of Borsa, play Soto to heal up again. Feels really good to be able to play around with our life like that. Okay. Now let's see what they do. I feel like we are in complete control of this game, honestly, because the leader effect that Boa has that forces you to take a life when you KO their characters, that does not scare us one bit, honestly, playing as yellow NL. So, oh, okay, they go 14 into our NL card. So this is just an easy L4. And they mess up and they end up quitting immediately. Okay. I don't know if they intended to attach the last Dawn and swing, or if they just missed the fact that Enel is a 11k body. Either way, it was a shame that they quit instead of just trying to play it out. But the game was pretty much over, I feel like. They did have another nasty trigger here to play out Borsalino from trash again, so they definitely could have survived. They could have tried to heal with Kuma this turn, perhaps. And yeah, anyway, they could have easily tried to prolong the game, but I think it more or less was over already. It feels like a really good matchup for Nell, this one. Alright, now we're up against Blue Rebecca, and this was one of the earlier games I played, so this is the only game in today's video where I'm playing the first list I showed you with the 10-drop ace that we just saw in the starting hand before the mulligan. And we have a lot of bricks in hand, but we have a searcher, which is good. We draw top deck a 0-cost event as well. Okay, feel like picking Viper because we're so bricked and it's a good card, but the Luffy here is just too good not to pick, especially when we see two of them in the search. Don't want to bottom deck two of them. So we take that one. And against Rebecca, we just want to go for their board. Probably initially. Ah, that's right, I remember this. They get a trigger to play out the 2-cost, but they don't play anything out. Maybe they misclicked. That can easily happen in the sim. And as soon as you click something, it's too late to do anything about it. Okay, and they do some searching. Here's the first kudos as well. I would rather not be this insanely bricked against Rebecca, since I know they can poke tons of 5k swings. It's nasty here that they get the Leo out as well. I would have wanted to just get rid of their Rebecca with this Viper effect, but it's still worth playing out. We will get rid of Leo, most likely. At least. And then their board is really weak, so now we can attach a Rested Dawn to our Searcher and poke 3k into their Psy. We go for Psy first because that goes to trash. Kudos bounces back to their hand. They really should let this go, but oh yeah, I remember now. They actually aggressively counter out here, so they're down to now 4 cards in hand. I did not expect them to do that, but I guess they want to just go as aggressively as they can here, probably. And they bottom deck our Viper with Buddy Pistol. That's annoying. They have another body on the field. We're on 7 Dawn, so we're probably gonna heal this turn just because we have so many bricks in hand. Otherwise, we could have played a Luffy instead. But we're way too bricked to stay at 1 life. Since they can get so many swings in 1 turn if they want to. Alright, another 5k poke. These 5ks are really annoying. I'm thinking about triggering out this one, and I'm gonna do that. So I have more bodies on the board to contend to swing into their board. They play another Kudos, giving him rush again. They still have 8 downs left for the turn though. They go 7 phase. I use the golden rifle, and here's another Kudos. 7 again. Get a draw 2 trigger. Feels awesome. Okay, so we are down to 0 life. We definitely need to heal up. Their goal was definitely to just hit the gas as hard as possible to try and get us down to 0, finish the game. But we can easily bounce back from this position. Now we know they have pretty much only bricks in hand. I don't remember what they searched up earlier. Forgot to check that now. But we can easily clear their board. We use the Hezo event to just draw 1 card. Probably gonna search as well. Yeah, we get to attach a Rested Dawn with the event's effect as well. That's not gonna matter for this turn though. So we do a search here. Gonna grab a 2k. And I'm thinking, oh, I remember this now. This was one of the earlier games I played with Enel. I've only used this event in the new OP15 Luffy so far, so I forgot for a second that you cannot activate the activate main effect unless your leader is the Strat crew type. I completely forgot it's type locked. So I tried to use that one here to double heal with that and then sort of, but now I of course quickly realized it's type locked, and yeah, that happens. But we get to heal once with Soto anyway. No worries at all. So we know they have a bunch of Kyroses. They probably will just try to get as many swings in as possible again. But when they play this many Kyroses turn after turn, that also hurts their hand size. They have to trash a card from hand every time they give Kyros rush. So we still are in no hurry to end this game whatsoever. Even though we have been pretty bricked from the start, we only have 4 cards left. We can heal pretty effectively Here we get the 10-drop ace from life. Gonna pitch. Okay, we pitched the Luffy. Alright. I just want to save as many healing cards as possible at this point, since they can swing so many times every turn. Another Kyros. Another 5k. Probably countering out of this one, yeah. Okay. They only have one card in hand, so we can eat up their board first. And those are just bricks going back to hand as well, which is really good knowledge to have. Both 6s goes through, but they get a body pistol trigger as well. Okay, we play the ace to heal up and swing for 10. They have to take this one as well. And pass the turn. Stay at 2 life. 3 if you count the leader effect. At least 3. Alright, what will they do at this point? They keep going for Kyros. Kyros swings. The endless swarm of Kyros swings here. And they play a 6-drop boa to freeze our ace. Wasn't expecting that at this point. But it doesn't matter whatsoever for us. Okay, they play a Sanji blocker. So here we poke 5 as Kyros again. 6 at face. And they take that one. And 6 more to face. What will they do? They actually blocks a 6k, so then we know this game is over. Unless they bait us super hard, but we know they have a lot of Kyros cards in hand, so we know they can't get out of this one. Alright, okay, the last game of the video. Now we're up against Red Blue Lucy. We are going first, starting with a search to grab the 0-cost event. Again, it feels so good to have searchers in yellow Enel. They start with a search themselves. Let's see what they grab. Bartolomeo, okay. Another search. And they grab Cavendish. Alright, so we search and we find the secret Luffy. The secret sauce, secret Luffy. Oh, it's such a good card in this matchup. We have to take it, of course. They are thinking long and hard about this one. Will they counter or will they counter? Okay, yeah, sure thing. 4 down turn. What will they do? Do they have the memento? They do not. Okay, they hard cast Bartolomeo. Into... Go ahead and use on Mr. Luffy to draw 2 cards. They poke 5 face. We take that one. Okay, this is nice. We have Viper to get rid of their Becca before they can try to use her as a blocker. And it's always nice to have Viper on the board so we can use a rested Dawn every turn for free. They're on their 6th Dawn turn. So the question is now, do they have the memento to play into Cavendish? No, they go for Barry Pistol instead. Okay, they bottom deck our Viper, which feels bad, but no worries. We have another one in hand if we need it. We take this and get a search trigger. That's good. Probably gonna take the 2k here. Yeah, we do. Alright, so now there's no use trying to Zeus Bartolomeo or swing into it, because he can protect himself against KO by trashing an event from hand. So face is the place here. going for a 6k first. Let's see what they do. They use the stage to counter out of it. And now we play the secret Luffy, swing for 7. They take that one. Alright, we have a Luffy established on the board. The question is, will they play Sabo into Fire Fist on Luffy? Hopefully not, but they do, I think? No, oh, yeah, that's right. Forgot about this one. They play the 3-cost event, go ahead and use a Mr. Luffy from Saddle. So that's gotta feel bad for them. At least they get more cards in hand. Alright. We're gonna probably counter out of this one, right? Don't have to go down to 0 right now. Oh, we're not even on the 10 down turn yet. So, okay, we use Viper to get rid of their small body and lowering the power of the other ones. So now they cannot get any free swings in if we swing for at least 7. That's exactly what we're gonna do. We start with a 7k with our leader. We know we only have a 1 cost in life, so Luffy will only be buffed by 1k for every block or event they use. And they do use an event here. A search event. They get a 2k from it. Oh well, technically that was a trigger, right? So, okay. They got out of that. What will they do? Do they have another Sabo blocker? Let's hope for their sake that they do, because it's not looking great for them. Oh, they hard play the Fire Fist. So that means they don't have another Sabo. They use the effect to get rid of our Luffy completely. Definitely hurt them not to have a second Sabo blocker though. Okay, we go down to 0. Heal up, and here it's gonna be an event counter every time, right? Yeah. And the swing with the Sabo blocker as well. This would have been a really nice trigger to get if we had a Borsalino in trash, which we didn't. So now we're gonna play the 10-drop Enel. We should have swung with our leader first for 5, but it doesn't really matter too much now. So a 5 poke first, then we can attach a Rested Dawn to Viper, swing for 7. Will they block, take, or counter? Let's see. They counter. And then we have a 12k coming in, pitching an event to heal. This they should block, and they do, yeah. Okay. At this point we have tons of counter in hand. Okay, yeah, they end up quitting. They did not find all their pieces. They only had 1 Sabo blocker, which definitely hurt them. I mean, this deck has to see their Sabo blockers pretty much. So that was really too bad for them that they only saw 1. So yeah, good game to all our opponents. That was the last game for today's video. So now just jump back to the deck list one more time and round things up. Okay, so this is the deck list we were running for almost all of the games, all but one of the games. I definitely love how it feels for now. I love this more mid-rangey way to play Enel. Definitely still like this boss card here, so that's not something I would cut down anytime soon. But these new cards, along with the Borsalino and Soro, they are so incredibly good. And the new Searcher, running both of these Searchers, searchers. Feels really, really nice in this deck. From April 1st, when Raigo or Kingdom Come is reintroduced into the game, that's definitely gonna end up in the list as well. So I don't know how many will run. 2, maybe 3 at max is my thoughts right now, because there is a lot of anti-removal in the meta right now as well. So there's no point running 4 of these, not at all. And I'm thinking probably if we go up to maybe 3 at most, then we could cut down the golden rifles, maybe even one of these events. So we would have less counter events in hand, but I feel like that's fine too, because most of the games we had more counter events than we could use anyway, a lot of the times at least. And when we have this card to remove any of our opponent's characters, as long as it can be removed, then we won't need as many counter events anyway. So this can, unfortunately, it cannot be used against the purple Enel's card, the secret Enel and the SR Enel, because they have built-in anti-removal, which sucks. But it can be used against Sabo, Lucy, the Sabo blockers, for example. And the same thing with Rebecca if she plays the Sabo blockers, or other big cards like Jinbei, OP11, Luffy's. Those are cards I've seen different Rebecca lists run as well. It's also really good against Boa, the 9-drop Boa. We can get rid of that easily. And the good thing now that makes this card even better is this Zoro. We can, on a 10 turn, use this to KO a big body on our opponent's field and then heal up alive with this one as well. As Enel, we want to stay around 1 life anyway, so we go down to 1 life before we use this one, so we don't have to trash the life. And then if we have this one in hand, we can just heal up again, as I said. So it will be interesting to play around with this card again when it is once again allowed in play from April 1st. So definitely looking forward to that. As I said, I really enjoyed the list so far, so I will try this deck out even more in the OP15 meta. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below, and like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos in the future. And thank you so much for watching up until this point if you haven't done so, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.